tickets for this beautiful creature. It's a 1955 Austin Cambridge. Today we're going to be looking at how we're going to change the points on the D25 Lucas distributor that's fitted to most BMC B series engines of the time from mid-50s to the 1980s. This particular car is fitted with the 1622cc from the later A60. So let's get the bonnet up and get going. So here's the distributor. First thing we're going to have to do is ping off the two clips that release the distributor cap. They're underneath the bottom and the top there. That will just lift that up, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. You see the rotor arm there. We're going to be needing to turn the distributor, so we're also going to get all this lot out of the way. Take the plugs out so we can reduce some of the compression when we come to turn the engine over. So we'll remove all of those. Get those out of the way. There we go. I have to do this all one-handed, so it's quite hard work. That's the distributor cap gone. Now it's time to remove the plugs. Okay, so that's the plugs removed, so we can get rid of some of the compression for when we want to turn the engine over. Next thing we're going to do is just remove that rotor arm, just so we can get a better look at what's going on within the distributor. Let's just pull off of there. And what we'll find now is that we can see the points there. What we're going to do is we need to get that the contact of the points up onto one of the cams on the distributor drive. So luckily we've got one of the last cars fitted with a starting handle, so that's going to help us out a great deal. We're just going to be able to turn the engine over, and that will give us an idea of getting the points to the position they should be. While I'm turning that over, I'm just going to let you be able to see exactly how they're working. So we'll do that now. There's a few revolutions of the engine there to demonstrate how the points are working as the engine is running. I'm just making the spark from the coil, sending it off to the spark plugs to do all that good work. We notice now we've got the points open. Straight away I'm a bit concerned about the gap on that. Doesn't look as if as big as it should be, which is probably the cause of the loss of power that we're experiencing. But we're going to put new ones in anyway, so that will cure that fault straight away. Okay, so here's our new points going in. As you can see here, there's a big elongated hole there that we're going to use to adjust them once we get the new set fitted in. Just showing you that now, just so that you can line it up with the screw that we can now see just here. That's the only thing holding the points into the distributor. So we're going to have to undo that. We're going to use our trusty Halford's magnetic tipped screwdriver, just so that we can fit it all in. Now, if you're one of these modern car owners that hasn't got column change, you've got much more room here. I've got a column change mechanism on my steering column, so that's need me a little bit less room than I would like. I'm just going to undo this screw here. And the reason we're using a magnetic tipped screwdriver, don't be afraid to keep in mind this screw goes all the way down into the sump, I'm sure, because it's a very long screw for the job that it's doing. I suppose it does make it a little bit easier when you're getting it back in again. Sorry if it's kind of a little bit blurred, but I'm knocking the camera each time I turn the screwdriver. And when we get to the end of its travel, you've got to make sure that you don't drop that little screw, because you can't buy them. You can't just pop into DIY store and buy these screws. Very, very valuable. You're not going to find it a replacement in a hurry, and that's why the magnetic screwdriver comes in particularly handy, because when we've got it to the end of the travel, that's So we're getting there pretty soon. You'll find that you can get it out, but it'd be handy if it's still on the end of your screwdriver. Now that's just going to expose the points there. So now we've got one stud that's on the here. That's just going to unpop that off of there, and that'll bring the whole assembly off. And I've still got some wires hanging on there, as you can see. One that goes off to the coil. So we're just going to disconnect that. Come back to that in a moment. And there's a little crosshead one that goes to the capacitor, which you won't be able to see because it's right down there in the depths. But that is on the end of this little fella here, down in there, little crosshead Phillips screw. So we're going to undo that as well, take the whole old assembly out, ready for the new one. Okay, so there's a distributor without the points in it. There is the tiny little sliver of a Phillips screw that holds the capacitor in. You don't want to lose that one. It's not anywhere near as long as the flathead one that we removed to take the base plate out, so don't lose that. We also disconnected, as we said, we'd come back to this this one here. This is the clips in the side of the distributor down here with the coil lead on its way up through the wire loom there. You can also see there's a distributor without anything in it. Have a look at the old points. I've seen much worse. You can't really see, there's a little bit of burning on there, but we're going to replace those anyway, so it really doesn't matter what condition they're in because we've got some nice new ones to go in. So that's what we're going to be doing next. So there's the condenser now fitted to the distributor base plate, and you can see the little tiny Phillips screw there. Long job to do that. There isn't really a technique. You've just got to get it right first time. Again, the trusty Halford's magnetic screwdriver helped you out, but you didn't want to watch the excruciating system I went through of dropping it and picking it up and dropping it and picking up. Big bit of advice: never do this job on gravel, because as soon as that little fella drops into gravel, he's gone for good. I'm lucky working on some tarmac or block paving. It's going to be quite shiny, so it will show up. And what we've now got to do now is get the remember the stud that we had earlier on, just slide the onto the top of there. Then we've got the connection to the coil, which is just going to slide down these two runners in the side of the distributor body. The other thing I didn't mention that I should have done earlier on that helps with my job is that I've got a handbrake that has to be let off. If you've got one of the Farina Cambridges, you won't be suffering from that problem because your handbrake won't be anywhere near it. But we've just got to coax that bit of plastic back down the side of the distributor there. That goes with the round side up so that the cap fits on nicely. Looks as if that's all the way down now, so we can just pop that lead that goes up to the coil on there as well. So we've now got that on there. That's all needs pulling round now, because we've now got the fun job of fitting the big screw back into the base plate ready for adjustment. Right, okay, so if we can remember our elongated hole that was in the base plate of the points there, we've now got our long down to the sump flathead screw, because we're now going to put this back into here ready to put the base plate in ready for adjustment. Now this again is a very fiddly job. We've got to be able to, I don't know if you can even see it because my hand might even be in the way because we've got such a little small amount of space, but yeah, I'm going to leave it there I think. Right, so we've got the flat blade screw in the base of the points now. I genuinely didn't want to watch the excruciating amount of time it took me to get that nicely lined up and in without cross-threading it, but it is now in and just done up tight enough just to stop the base plate from moving, springing around. It can move if we use this adjuster here, So what we can do is just use the screwdriver just to, as you can see, just move them around and it will go where we've left it. Now this Lucas D25 distributor needs the point set at a gap between 0.014 and 0.016 thousandths of an inch. So I have a feeler gauge here that is a 0.015, so just between the two. And what I'm going to be looking for as I adjust the points is a sensation that I learned at Getting Your Hands Dirty College of Engineers Feel. So what we need to do is just place the feeler gauge securely between the points there, so that the gap is going to be set to that. So as we adjust the points like that, that's nipped between the two. Now we're going to just give them just a push from the end there, just to make sure that they're tight there. The cam has still got that, so it's going to be where it is when the engine is running, and keeping this feeler gauge perfectly upright so that there is no potential for any further adjustment. We're just going to very, very gently, very, very carefully tighten the screw here so that the base plate is locked down to the distributor. And then as we move this feeler gauge in and out, we've still got that engineer's feel there, so we can just feel this feeler gauge just dragging on the points. It can fit nicely in there comfortably, just dragging, but doesn't need to stretch the points open. So that gap is now set to the gauge that we want it. Okay kids, so that's just about all done now. Just put a bit of lube on the distributor shaft, and we've popped a nice new shiny red rotor arm on there. So now, in the famous words of Mr. Haynes himself, it's just a case of a reassembly as a reversal. So I hope you enjoyed all this. Happy motoring. Bye.